Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to the show. I am Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
We get together, do this every day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, heading you guys, helping everybody out there, ourselves included, to head back to the window and cash those winning tickets. So, Scott, how did your, I didn't talk to you much this weekend. We usually text pretty frequently. And, a lot of Father's Day stuff going on and other plans, so I didn't get a chance to catch up. How'd your weekend go?
Well, NASCAR is usually the medium that we, bare minimum-wise, communicate through.
Correct.
Unfortunately, we didn't have that, so overall it was okay. Betting-wise, it was pretty, I'd say, average. I can't say it was amazing by any means, but it would have been really good if Zalatoris came through for me on Sunday, and he did not. So, yeah, I missed out on a playoff by a couple of inches.
Yep.
And I made it back this morning betting on some tennis, but still, that would have been a nice hit if I ended up winning the Zalatoris bet.
Okay, very good, very good. What'd you do for your dad for Father's Day?
I hung out with him, went to his place. I'm still here, as you can tell by the background.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He put you out. He makes you sleep in the shed. You're out there in the shed.
But we went out to dinner, so just hung out. And I can't say it was anything crazy. We didn't go to some insane sporting event or some concert or whatever.
Strip club?
We went to
no
strip club.
At the strip club?
Oh. But we went to a nice dinner and hung out. So
did you pick up the tab, Mr. $5,000 winner?
Well, I feel like you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. So, all right, very good.
Luckily for me, the tab was not $5,000, so a couple of that, I got some of that. I got to keep for profits.
Where'd you go at Applebee's? Where'd you go?
No, we went to this sushi place.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, guys, it's good to be here. We want to remind you, of course, take a minute if you would be so kind, smash that like button, and we'll check in with guys over here. It's Nicholas Lee in the house. Said Nicholas had a great Father's Day. That's fantastic. I hope everybody had a great Father's Day, either doing something for your father or getting something done for you. Getting a little payback. My kids got me something, Scott, that I've been looking at. They've been advertising heavy on podcasts and shit, and I kind of wanted to do it just for posterity. But it's the thing where they send you a question a week about your past. And you like write out an answer, and then at the end of the year they put it in a book, and you have all these.
Is that the new version of like searching up your like ancestry.com information that everybody's doing?
No. It's not anything.
It's the new craze that's sweeping the nation.
This is that new craze that's sweeping the nation.
It used to be, like ancestry.com or like stuff like that. Then horoscopes were big for I don't know how long, and now I guess you can ask questions about yourself.
1,000 years, I don't know.
Yeah, give or take.
So I can't believe after various amounts of years in the 20s that they haven't heard all my stories. But
so what was the question you answered?
I haven't got it yet. I haven't got the first one yet. I haven't got the first one yet. I will keep everybody abreast of the questions because I'm intrigued. I'm anxious to do it. So Unknown Ennis says we rolling, baby. We rolling. Excellent. Super Sly says afternoon. Good afternoon to you. James Mounts checking in. What's up, James? Good to see you. Nicholas said he had the last 4 fights on the UFC, had them in a parlay, and they got me, and my God, some tomahawk steaks yesterday. Oh, good. I like a good tomahawk steak?
I mean, you don't even need the word tomahawk. I just like a good steak.
Best part about it is
a bonus.
You can fucking kill a settler with it, and then eat it for dinner. It's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Man after my own heart. I actually had a burger yesterday, Scott. I don't eat a lot of red meat, as you guys well know, but broke down. My son and I were at a Mexican place, and I was with the family, and they had a burger on the menu that was a bacon burger blend, had I think pastrami, Mexican sausage, and ham on it. Couldn't pass up. So
that just sounds like meat with an occasional topping. It sounds like the toppings were meat.
Yeah, absolutely. How'd you do UFC? You do okay?
Overall, I didn't really bet it that much. It was in the middle of the afternoon. There were a couple of fights that I actually did like. I ended up not making a video on it. I would have done decently. I would have liked the Emmett Cater fight to go the distance. It did. Whether you think that Emmett actually won or not, I feel like you can make an argument either way. I don't think it was a robbery, but it was kind of a coin flip for the decision. I probably would have leaned to Cater, but it's not like it was the end of the world. And I had Giannis to win by knockout, and he won in the first round by knockout.
Okay, very good, very good. Scott, Bruce wants to know if the Avs will smack the shit out of the Lightning again tonight. I'm going to make a bold call. It won't be 7-0 again.
That's a fair call.
Well, I mean, I talked about it on the last show, and Chris and I talked about it, and they seem to have a problem getting the puck out of their own end, Scott. They can't beat the forecheck. They can't get any possessions. They can't get 16 fucking shots. How do you beat that? They had 21 in the first game, right?
Give or take, yeah. And I'm trying to think if they even had any in overtime. Like, I don't think they even had a shot.
I don't think so. If they did, it was one. They might have had a breakaway there that kind of petered out and then got one kind of weak ass shot off, if any. But is that seems to be a fundamental problem that goes beyond, cold goaltending or, somebody's hot, somebody's cold. That seems to be a team problem that transcends lines, shifts, time of game. How do you stop that, Scott?
Well, I definitely think, of course, without it being said, Tampa's going to have to make quicker decisions in their zone, and to try to combat it potentially with more dump and chase. They're going to have to try to catch Colorado potentially in some, let's just say, I'd say, less than ideal defensive situations. Because the one thing Colorado does, and the reason why the forecheck is so good, the defensemen pinch a lot. So if you have aggressive defensemen who are not afraid to join the rush and not afraid to get themselves into very solid scoring chances, Tampa, if they're able to force some turnovers or just potentially find themselves a decent amount of chances to create some odd man rushes, they're going to have to capitalize. And the reason why Colorado's been so good, they're the faster team.
Okay.
And it's really not even been close. You can talk about how Colorado has so many lines that all have speed on them, and Tampa really only has a couple of lines that have a lot of speed to it. I think you can argue Tampa probably has, like 2 lines, maybe a line and a half with elite level speed.
Right.
It feels like Colorado has 3 or 4.
Just keep coming at
even
you.
Colorado's 4th line has a ton of speed. And when it comes to adjustments Tampa can make, every line was a problem. But I'm not really sure what Pat Maroon gives you in this series. Because Maroon's kind of a grinder. He's not afraid to play a little bit dirty. Same thing with Corey Perry. They're not afraid to be instigators. But they're older and they're very slow. They're going to be constantly torched by the counterpart for Colorado, I think Tampa's going to have to get younger and get faster with some of these depth pieces.
Well, Maroon owes him a goal after his fuck up the other night in overtime. Pretty much gave him the game right there as they scored that power play goal to win it.
Do you think Maroon should be playing in the series? Because I know that he's a veteran leader and he's won the cup several times on different teams, but I'm trying to figure out the matchup. And I know Perry on the power play is known as being the screener in front, but the power play's been broken throughout the series also.
Right.
Do you think it's time for Tampa to, at least for this series, consider pulling the plug on the older guys and trying to inject some youth and speed into the lineup?
I think you've got to get some speed in that lineup. I think you've hit it on the head. If this isn't, desperate times call for desperate measures. Well, if 2-0 ain't desperate, I don't know what is. It's you've got to obviously change something because what you're doing isn't working. That's what worries me the most, Scott, because they knew all these problems after game 1 and they fixed exactly none of them in game 2. So that worries me greatly if I'm a Tampa Bay backer here. So we talked about buying them at the apex of their value when they still had a legitimate chance to win the series before the last game. Of course, losing it now, there's this price has skyrocketed. You're catching plus 455. Any interest at all on backing a Tampa Bay comeback to win 4 out of the last 5 games?
Personally, no.
Okay.
I can admit when I was wrong. I think that Tampa's still a very solid team. I'm not going to say that it's automatically done. Like Colorado should be minus 2,000. I'm not saying that. But I don't think Tampa's winning both home games. And it's been a weird NHL playoffs where the home ice advantage has actually mattered a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In some of these series, which you're really not used to in hockey. But Tampa's been very good in Tampa. I just can't look past the fact that Tampa can't even get many shots on net.
Yep.
And Vasilevsky was awful in game 2.
Yep.
He might be battling a bit of an injury, whether that's true or not, I don't know.
He didn't face a lot of shots, but they were really high-quality shots.
They were high-quality shots, too. I'm not going to blame Vasilevsky for the loss. When you score no goals and you give up a bunch of scoring chances, you're going to lose a lot of games.
Right.
And they did. But I just don't really know how many counters Tampa has to the speed of Colorado, besides hoping either their physicality wears Colorado down, which it won't, or they go younger, they bench the guys that I said, and hopefully the power play wakes up and scores a couple.
Give it a rip.
And Vasilevsky goes beast mode. That's basically the only hope they have.
Bruce sums it up, says Tampa Bay can't even skate with them. Yep, that's exactly what it is. It looks shitty on the ice. He said he just bet the Avs team total over 2.5. Should be easy money.
I mean, I don't know how many adjustments Tampa has. I was just trying to be realistic because you can't bench the entire team.
Correct.
You bench the old guys who can't really stick with the younger guys. But it's the same reason why I looked at Colorado in the Edmonton series, and I thought Colorado was going to smack them. I just looked at the talent on both teams and said one team's a lot better. And unfortunately, I thought for myself that Tampa would be able to compete with Colorado and potentially just wear them down with their experience and their depth over the course of 7 games. 2 games in, I couldn't be more wrong because Colorado just looks like the better team. It looks like the Edmonton series all over again.
I've not independently verified this stat, but if this is true, this is big if true, Scott. Avs had more goals than Tampa Bay had shots on net.
That is not true,
okay.
But it felt that way.
All right. Because I know there's a difference between shots on net and shot on goal. So,
well, no, you mean shot attempts. Shot on net and shots on goal. Well, I mean, that doesn't include the actual saves or whatever.
I thought shots on net were actually like better shots. Isn't that true?
No.
It's not true? Okay. There you go.
Shots on goal and shots on net are the same thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, then they so that could have been a bit of hyperbole there because they only
he's being facetious.
Okay.
But it felt that way.
They had 16 shots. So they didn't miss it by much. A gap of 9 is not what you want.
But that's also one of those games where if you are John Cooper and you're the coach of Tampa, what do you do about game 2? Do you just toss the entire film in the garbage because you failed at everything?
I don't think you can. I'm
saying I don't know what type of pointers you can learn from game 2 when you got torched in every single aspect of the game.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I don't know
you just burn it and pretend it didn't happen. Like I don't know.
You've got problems you've got to fix though. You've got to see those problems on film to correct them. Now, normally I would say that, but they've got shit they got to fix. This wasn't bad.
I'm assuming though that they tried to fix it after game 1, as
right.
you said before, and whatever counters they made completely backfired. So I would probably just torch the film and hope that your team responds at home.
Bruce said he meant in the first period. I believe that in the first period, absolutely. As they put up,
that sounds right. I think Tampa only had 2 shots on net in the first period.
Yep. That's because they started off going a man down, and it never got better.
Yeah.
Okay. So you who do you like in this one?
It's a must-win game, obviously, for Tampa. So people are going to automatically jump on this buy low spot on the Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it.
Mm-mm.
At the end of the day, I just think that Colorado is the better team, and I might counter somewhere in the middle. I might take a Vasilevsky saves prop.
Okay.
Because I think they're correlated. I don't think Tampa's suddenly going to hold Colorado to 25 shots on net, but I think if Tampa's going to win, Vasilevsky probably stands on his head.
Okay.
So if I was going to make a case for Tampa, I would rather take the saves prop over Tampa money line.
Okay. Total?
Because I think either way, Vasilevsky's going to have a great game.
Agreed. Total 6. Are we due for an under? Are we due for somebody to stop some goals?
Well, you can make an argument for an under, but Tampa didn't score last game and it still went over.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the over.
All right.
Because I think it might be correlated because Tampa defensively is going to have to buckle down if they want to make a game of it. But they also can't score 0 goals.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a situation where it's a 3-2 game or a 4-2 game late, they're going to keep pulling the goalie. And with Tampa being extra desperate, they might pull the goalie down 3 if they're in a spot like that. So I think I'm going to lean to the over. But it's mostly just because I can't take an under when Colorado could score 4+ goals in any game.
Fair enough. I just I'm gonna lean under just because neither team is getting off a lot of shots. So
I just think it's correlated.
I agree,
and I think Colorado's gonna win.
Fair enough. Okay, let's we kind of wanted to kick off with the hockey game there. Not a lot going on except baseball, and we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do that, of course, reminded everybody to like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Get subscribed to the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel. That's the main thing I want to talk to you about. A lot of great content there. 12 o'clock, Sean Higgs, Midday Money. Allie Burns doing Morning Wood at 1. Me and Chris at 2. Me and Scott at 3. 4 o'clock, Sean Miller talking about soccer from around the world. And 5 o'clock is Detroit Lenny and the Earl brothers, Nick and Tim, giving you your game time decision. So check out all that great content. Best way to do it, like I said, subscribe, ring the bell, get notified every time one of the shows goes live or put up brand new content. Of course, we've got great daily videos from me, Scott, other handicappers in our stable over there at Winners and Winers. That's what's available on the Winners and Winers YouTube channel. So get subscribed over there as well. All right, Scott. Caesars, still doing it, man. Still doing it, Caesars. God bless you. $1,500 free money is what it comes down to if you would happen to lose, because your first bet is guaranteed. Make that bet up to $1,500. If you win a big bet. If you lose, Caesars will recompensate you in the form of $1,500. So make sure that you get over there. You have to use the code VideoWinners15. We put the code in today's description. Of course, the code is there along with the links to all the different states where it applies. If you don't see your state listed there, you're SOL, my friend. You're just like me. You're stuck in the hinterlands. You're stuck in the 20th century instead of the 21st. So be patient. It'll get there eventually, I would think. But for now, those are the states where it's available. So make sure you check on that availability. You must be 21 to play, of course. All right. Well, my premium plays, I've been running pretty good. You can hop on those. I have the link available as well in my show description. Over the last 5 days, I've gone 17, 5, and 3. I will take that each and every time. So hop on the premium while the getting's good. All right, Scott, let's talk about what happened yesterday. Let's trot it out, everybody. It's time to reveal the winners, the whiners, the people that took it to the bank, the people that took it in the shorts, and everybody in between. It's Monday. It's time to get out your flip phone. Call the cops. Scott, head bobbing along to the dulcet tones of the local gendarme. So let's get rocking and rolling here in the major league, Scott. If you had the Padres, Rockies, first 5 under 6.5. 6.5 for the first 5. The fuck does that not cash? Well, first of all, you're at 35,000 feet up there in Denver. So the ball, it travels quite a bit. Only had 2 runs through the first 4 innings. Holy crap, I'm a genius. Nope. Colorado, can I interest you in a 5 spot in the bottom of the 5th? That makes 6-1 if you're scoring at home. And Colorado was scoring at home because they put up 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th to beat your under 6.5. Call the cops.
And if you had the St. Louis Cardinals team total under 3.5 against the Red Sox, you had 1 run through the first 8 innings, 3 runs in the top of the 9th. They still lost the game, but they ended up losing 5-4. And if you had under 3.5 for a team total, then you can rip it up.
Okay. All right, and finally, White Sox, Astros, first 5 under 4. Only 2 runs through the first 5 innings. Seems to be a trend in today's show, Scott, for the first 4 innings, sorry. And once again, you saw it before. They didn't put up 5, but they did put up 3, and that was enough. 3 runs in the 5th, 4-1 after 5. Tear up your under 4. It's no good.
First 5s, there's a lot of value in, but you're going to witness a couple of bad beats because both teams, of course, are guaranteed to bat in the 5th.
And they don't have to stop after 1 run. That home team can just keep scoring their ass off. That's when I really miss the pitcher hitting in the National League, because you were guaranteed the pitcher to come through at least once, sometimes twice.
But when things go badly, they're walking the pitcher on like 5 pitches.
No, that's true, but that's
going to be a 3-2 count. He might foul one off, and he's going to miss by an inch. When it's really just going poorly for you, and you can tell, the pitcher gets on base a lot more than you think.
Yeah,
doesn't it? Or at least it feels that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the guy and the leadoff men did always just beat you.
That's a good question, by the way. Do you miss watching the pitcher bat in the National League in general?
Yes.
At no point have I missed it.
I miss it as a handicapping tool.
I'm saying just ignoring overall betting for a second.
No.
As a fan, do you miss seeing the pitcher basically get on base 1 out of every 20 at-bats?
No, that's just having an absolute black hole in your lineup is not entertaining. I'm sorry.
I mean, the Yankees already have that with Joey Gallo, so
Folks.
I'm used to having that experience.
Folks.
Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. But yeah, I don't exactly miss the pitcher batting. So
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hey, there was some good news out there, and hopefully all you fathers and everybody else were on the right side of some games. You had some nice, easy winners. You spent Father's Day where you should be spending Father's Day, Scott. Kicked back in the recliner because you're in the rocking chair, baby.
So the first one in basketball wasn't Game 7, though, in the WNBA. If you had the Lynx and Aces over 172, each quarter had at least 44 points, and the game landed 191.
Aces overs, not a bad play right now, Scott.
Team totals as well. They tend to walk into 90 pretty regularly.
Very good. If you had the Blue Jays Yankees over 9, they didn't do this much in the first two, but they saved them up for Game 3 as they had 9 runs in the first 5 innings. All we need is one more, Rodney. You got it. This game landed 19. A nice easy 10-9 victory for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And for this one, if you are a savage and took the Nationals on the money line.
Rye. Where's Rye?
At plus 145 against the Phillies, you waited about a week and a half to cash a Nationals money line ticket, but they got there, and it was pretty easy. Led 4-0 after 2 innings, and they won 9-3.
So if you made that bet 10 days in a row, let's see, you're down 900, up 145. That's a nice tidy loss of 755.
But if you bet them one more time and they win, it's called a winning streak.
It's a streak.
It has happened before.
Oh, the Royals have not won 4 games in a row this season.
Yeah, they killed me yesterday. Were you shocked, by the way, that I took a Royals team total over?
Yes, I am.
It was such a good spot. Koenig, I'm assuming you were still following the Royals stuff as a fan.
I am. I didn't follow much yesterday doing all the Father's Day stuff. But
Koenig had 2 starts, an ERA of like 11.5,
right,
of 2+, the wind's blowing out, team totals 3.5.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That's what went wrong. But, I took a shot with your bad team. They kicked my ass. Every now and then you'll cash money betting on a bad team.
Yep.
I tried it yesterday.
Yeah.
The Royals are officially on my dead to me list. I tried.
I
really did try.
That had to be a short trip.
Against Oakland?
I know.
I tried. It didn't work out.
They'd won the first 2 games. They'd put up some runs. No, I get it.
I figured bad pitcher, maybe they could find a way to get some guys on base and score. I got the first part right. They had a bunch of guys on base. They just couldn't score any of them.
Yeah, you're half right. They did get the guys on base. Well done. Just can't complete the process, Scott.
I think they stranded the bases loaded in 3 separate innings. And I'm like, what? You can't even give me a sac fly. You can't give me anything. No.
Yeah, I had a game that they pissed away the lead. They had a 6-2 lead. Came up and was it the Braves where they tied it 6-6. They get the bases loaded, 1 out, and score 1 run in the 9th. Can't cover the run line for me. So yeah, thanks for nothing. So, Scott, we talked about this a little bit. In fact, we talked about it a lot, but we're going to find out. We're going to make it official and maybe explore what went wrong just a little bit more. I watched the game too. Not mad, but man, I am disappointed.
I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but we have to go back a little bit
because it's right there on the script, so we have to talk about it again. Yeah, it's basically just losing by 7 goals in the playoffs. Do you have any kind of interesting Elias Bureau stats about when the last time that happened, or biggest playoff finals margins and shit like that? You got anything to wow us with?
Well, you said the playoffs, just for more clarity, the finals.
The finals. That's right.
It's even worse at 7-0. But yeah, apparently it's the biggest NHL Stanley Cup Finals game loss since the Penguins against the North Stars, which I think was 91.
Oof.
So it's been about 21 years.
That's 31.
Since you
Scott.
had that big of a loss. But at the end of the day, you lose by 7 goals in a game. You lose game 1 in overtime. Okay, you tried. It didn't go your way. You had a shot there, didn't work out. You respond by losing by 7. And we know the Lightning before that we're what, 18-1 off a loss?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's 18-2.
Yeah.
So
We have been able to kill that streak by talking about it extensively. Think we killed it against the Rangers as it was at 0, and then it was at 1 as they lost and then won a couple more in that spot. But I think we've almost officially killed it now, Scott.
I don't know if we officially killed it because I mentioned it a couple of times during the Toronto series, and it worked every time in the Toronto series. So we did have a little bit of, I'd say, room there. But if you want to look at anything else, I know Bronco's saying I was disappointed in the Longhorns.
Does he just have that copied and pasted ready to go?
I was going to say, we had this conversation about the Longhorns for the last couple of weeks.
I was
shocked they came back and beat East Carolina. Took a miraculous comeback in Game 2 to even get to this point.
Yep.
I was actually going to put them as the original disappointed, but I couldn't. I just couldn't let a 7-goal loss slide.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. But
agreed.
I'd say the Longhorns were the runner-ups in this situation.
Yes, I know. Texas letting down their fans in a collegiate activity is certainly an unusual position for them to be in.
Although preseason number 1, we talked about how they were overrated all season long. I understand the Longhorn fans had bigger goals. Can you still really be disappointed when your team probably shouldn't have made it to Omaha in the first place? It took a miraculous comeback to even make it there in the first place.
Yes, Bronco Devil literally wrote that. He's disappointed in the Longhorns. So, yes, you can be.
Would you be disappointed if your team that you root for in college baseball basically had a miraculous comeback to even beat the Super Regional and they lost immediately in Omaha? Would you be really disappointed, or would you just be sad?
No, I'd be sad they lost, but I'd be super excited that they made it, because any team that I root for in college is very unlikely to make the College World Series. So
you know who has really been making me sad? Not disappointed, but sad. Arkansas, because I had that future parlayed with something there for about 50-1. And unfortunately, the parlay piece lost, and Arkansas is looking like the best team left.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
but you still
can't win them all.
But you've still got a 25-1 ticket, right?
No, you think I do? I parlayed it with something else.
Oh well, fuck! I'm still live.
I got nothing.
I'm still live there, buddy.
I know you are. So,
okay.
How do you feel about your chances now?
I feel good.
Are they the best team left?
The best team that I've seen play yet, at least through the first set of games there.
Kicked the crap out of Stanford.
Whooped them. I watched that game. They just beat the shit.
Was that 17-2?
17-2. They just kept fucking. They couldn't get out of an inning without giving up runs.
Yeah, I really jumped on the Arkansas train at the right time. Unfortunately, I tried to stack too much luggage onto the train, and it didn't work out. But
Stanford up 2-0 over Auburn. I think, and I know Andrew's a big Stanford guy. Andrew, do you think Stanford's the best team left right now? I know they were number 2 in the nation coming in, right?
You can argue that, but when you lose 17-2, I got to assume the other team's better than Stanford.
Andrew says, every time I watch Arkansas, I think of your 25-1. I do too. I'm not gonna lie, I do too.
Arkansas impressed me even when I made the bet. I know it lost, but before the parlay piece lost, I watched them in the first game against North Carolina, and I watched them in Chapel Hill, and they were pitching well. They were playing small ball. The thing about Arkansas that I like, I'm pretty sure they scored 17 runs and only hit 2 home runs. I think. Like, they don't rely that heavily on the long ball.
No, they're
just really good at keeping the line moving.
Yep.
And that's just an invaluable asset at this stage in college baseball.
Found a lot of gaps. Arkansas or Oklahoma. I got to tell you, I do know a little bit about this Arkansas team, and you always think of Arkansas in football or whatever, the 40 minutes of hell in basketball, but the thing that the people in Little Rock or in Fayetteville really worship is fucking baseball.
Yeah.
This is a team that expects to be in the College World Series every year. At the end of the day, they don't expect the Razorbacks to play for the SEC championship or make the playoffs in football, but they expect this team to be competitive and at the minimum make it to Omaha in the summer. So
that's why I liked them, because they were the number 1 team last year, and people just thought that they lost a lot of pieces, but I can guarantee you not making it to Omaha last year definitely was stuck in the memories of their active roster.
They're frosty.
And they're still very talented. They still have a great coach. And I'm not exactly surprised that Arkansas is still playing while some other people went home.
JC said he tailed your Arkansas bet, got Mississippi and Texas A&M to
Once again, I'm not saying Arkansas is still going to win the whole thing.
No.
But if you got 25-1 and they're probably now at what, like 450?
I was going to say 5, yeah, probably.
I mean, that's just a hell of a deal for you.
A little closing line value. We'll see if I have to throw it in the trash or not. But I was just going to see if I see anything for. Nope, I don't. I got.
Well, you're not going to because they're playing games right now.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I've just got individual lines on Arkansas and Ole Miss. Should be a good game.
What's the line there? I'm assuming Arkansas is like minus 150.
128. Not a bad deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Over the A&M Notre Dame over unders 14.5.
That's just fun.
I'm guessing we don't have our frontline starters going for that one.
Yeah.
Tennessee helps out. Yeah, Tennessee being out definitely helps for sure. Broncos says he got Scheffler at 550. That one hurt.
I had Zalatoris, so
same
welcome
boat.
to the club.
Arkansas, Oklahoma.
It was even more annoying because I live bet Zalatoris, and immediately after I live bet him, Zalatoris made a birdie putt, and Fitzpatrick bogeyed.
Yeah.
So I randomly went up 2 shots right after I made the bet, and then he just couldn't hit a fairway for the next 3 holes.
Nope. Put some
brutal.
Put some, as my dad used to say, put some smiles on those balls.
Yeah, and Fitzpatrick hit that birdie putt from what, like 50 feet?
Nailed it.
And that got him back into it. Then somehow Fitzpatrick hits the gallery of people and ends up with a better lie than Zalatoris. So whatever.
JC said he also had Scheffler 1,400. That stings. That absolutely stings for sure. So Scott, we talked about hockey. We got baseball tonight. We are going to have a play, of course. Not surprisingly, it is going to be from the world of baseball for the farm today, but not a ton of games. What do you see out there that you like, buddy?
Well, you got a rematch of Cole versus McClanahan because they ended up playing last week.
Right.
Yankees had an Aaron Boone sighting yesterday because he completely punted the game for the Yankees. They were up 8-3, and they were going for their first sweep in the Rogers Center since 2003. Doesn't that sound a bit crazy? 2003 is the last time the Yankees swept Toronto in
20
the Rogers
years.
Center.
That's amazing.
But they were up 8-3, and then for some reason, Severino's at 90-something pitches. Boone brings it back out for the 6th, gives up 2 base runners. Then they bring in Castro to pitch, and Castro sucks. He gives up the grand slam. And, the whole game fell apart after that. But do you think that's a loss that snowballs? Or do you think the Yankees are just so talented and Tampa's so injured right now?
They're fine.
That Cole versus McClanahan, it's going to be a good pitching matchup, but the Yankees have too much firepower. They should break it away at some point.
I think if they would have lost the first 2 games of that series, or they're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak or whatever, I think it really stings. Going for the sweep after 2 wins there in Toronto, I think they're fine. I think they recover and play their way out of it.
Plus, Tampa's been a disaster. Tampa's lost 5 of 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you lose a series to Baltimore. All the games were 1 run, but you're against Baltimore's pitching staff, and you score 1 run in 2 games combined.
Yeah,
I know they won the game; they scored 7, but the other 2 games you scored 1 run combined.
Yeah,
the offense is not exactly clicking right now.
Last 6 games, they scored 12 runs, and as you alluded to, they scored 7 of those in 1 game. So that's I'm no math major, but I'm pretty sure that's a run a game in the other 5. So that ain't good.
Bronco, by the way, I do hate Aaron Boone, so that's another coach to add, but I've publicly hated him for years. So he's been on the list. He's been there for a long time.
Yeah, he hated Aaron Boone before all the cool kids were doing it. I can vouch for that. So
Bruce, I don't think I've been wrong in that case. It's really watching the Yankees this season is like being a Dodgers fan, and even though you're like 40 games over every single season,
waiting for something to go wrong.
You know Dave Roberts is a moron. And you just have to wait for it to happen, You
have to just wait for him to bring in Jansen.
Even in the year that they won with the shortened season, Jansen blew game 4?
4, yep.
Against Tampa?
Yep.
And they brought Jansen in, and he blew the game. So even when they win the World Series, Roberts is still being stupid. And even when the Yankees are the best record in the league, I still think Boone's an idiot.
Very good.
So
Bruce wants to know if we can break down a little Cardinals-Milwaukee Brewers. 2 great pitching matchups tonight, Scott. This is the other one as Miles Mikolas goes against Corbin Burns. Excellent. Both of them have whips sub 1, ERAs in the 2.6 range. Should be a pretty good pitching matchup here. Both of these teams sit exactly 38 and 30, Scott. Tied.
Does it concern you at all that Mikolas only has one arm since the other one fell off during his no-hitter bid?
They rode him pretty hard there. 129, right?
I think he's going to get shelled tonight. It's not anything against Mikolas. I think that he's a solid pitcher. I like that he came back from injury last year, and he's been very good. But especially in today's baseball, if you throw 129 pitches in your last start, I'm assuming you're going to struggle. I would not be surprised if Milwaukee got to him early and often. I like the Brewers' first 5.
Okay.
Burns, of course, is still a very solid pitcher, but after 129 pitches, I mean, usually, as you remember from last year and the last couple of years, I always fade the pitcher off a no-hitter, and they usually struggle. And it's whether because of the fact they're overpriced or because of the fact that they throw so many pitches, their arm just feels like Jell-O for the next week and a half. 129. I got to go with the Brewers here. I have serious question marks about Mikolas' arm after throwing 129.
Okay.
And the start before that, by the way, he went 8 innings.
Yeah.
So he's pitched 16 2/3 in his last 2 starts with 129 pitches attached to the last outing. Give me the Brewers.
Okay. Yeah, at the end of the day, Burns isn't quite having the dominating year that he was last year when he won the Cy Young. But you look at his starts; he's made 12 starts. He's given up more than 2 runs just 3 times, and one of those was 3 on opening day. He's been very good. It's hard to fade Burns, especially with Mikolas like that. As far as the price goes, what are we catching the card at here? We're catching 165. See, that's where I run into a problem, Scott, because it's easy to say, sure, I think Burns pitches better than Mikolas. Okay, very good. But now
I said first 5 minus a half, or maybe even just Brewers team total over.
Yeah. See,
but
that's
the total's pretty low when I don't exactly trust one of the pitchers.
You've got to come up with a way. So you're gonna have 4.5 is gonna be your total there most likely. So yeah, you have to look for ways around that minus 165 because it just rings a lot of the value. Okay, so you've got to look at first 5. You've got to look at first 5 run lines. I'm a big fan of that because you've obviously only got to cover a half a run. So you just have to have the lead. So yeah, you have to work your way around that 165. Would you lay 165? Would you take the run line here? Is there anything you can do to beat this full game?
I would take the run line, if anything.
Okay.
It really goes back to my point of even if you like St. Louis, take it anyway, but at least acknowledge the spot. And I'm sure, sometimes to my own fault, I overvalue the spot. I did it with the Royals yesterday. I'm not afraid of backing bad teams or backing things that might seem a little bit uncomfortable because I just believe that there is a variable in play that people aren't accounting for. I cannot ignore the 129 pitches.
No.
I just can't do it. So I like Brewers first 5 minus a half. You can probably get that like minus 120.
I think that'd be right in the ballpark. Yeah, without
full game potentially minus 1.5.
Yeah.
The Brewers got to beat up on the Reds over the weekend, so the bullpen is, I don't want to say fully rested, but it's relatively rested. I'm pretty sure Hader did not pitch yesterday, so he should be available. But I'll take the Brewers. I think Mikolas is going to struggle.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Bronco, talk about why they can't bunt to the shift.
I'll tell you what, that's my favorite part of Matt Carpenter. That guy bunts against the shift more than anybody I've ever seen, and he only plays like once every 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
it's either a home run or a bunt. It's great.
This has been my old man yells at clouds for since they've really started using the shifts extensively. 4 years ago, really?
Yeah.
I don't know why everything turns into a dick measuring contest and you just can't bunt. You've got to hit into the shift and show you can beat it. I'm like, fuck, just kill me now. All right, buddy.
You don't have to deal with it for about 1 more year because then the shifts are going away.
Bronco Devil, a man who is easily excited. They put in new Domino's by his place and has a drive-through.
I did not even know that pizza places like that had drive-throughs. Did you know that?
They used to have a drive-through at a Pizza Hut Taco Bell over by where I used to live.
Yes, that I've had. Yeah.
But as far as an actual drive-through, it's a great idea as long as your pizza's ready, you know.
Hot and ready or just ready?
Gotta be hot and ready, man.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta be hot.
Pizza.
All right, brother. Let's do it. We've been running pretty good, and I think that's fantastic.
I forgot what the current streak is. We've either won 4 in a row, or is it 4 in a row?
I think we won 4 in a row.
I think so.
We won 4 in a row. We're gonna jinx this because my dog.
Well, I think we faded the Nationals 3 times, and then we, of course, had our play over the weekend.
Yep.
So I think it's 4.
I think it's 4. Yeah, we took 3 run lines, and I think we would take them the play over the weekend. So, my dog has knocked my hat down, so neither one of us are going to have a hat.
It's all good.
That doesn't break the streak. I don't know what does.
I have had hair. Does that count?
It does not. So, Little Caesar also has a drive-through, says Chris Lyons. What a fucking world we live in, buddy. What a world we live in.
If you have Little Caesars while betting on Caesars, the world might explode. So just be careful, you know.
All right. Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, my friend. Let's get to it. We're going to just cut right to the meat of the issue. It is time once again, everybody. You know it, you love it. Get your overalls on. Put those straw hats on your head. Hopefully you remembered yours. I remembered mine. It was sitting out, and then my dog helped me out. Now it's on the floor, and it's unattainable. It's unobtainium. So just gonna have to picture us on ours. You're on my list. You're dead to me. It is time once again. Climb aboard your John Deere, fire that bad boy up, and ladies and gentlemen, get ready to bet the farm. Does it feel weird not to be scrambling behind the scenes getting your hat on as we hear that?
Ma'am.
Afternoon. All righty, Scott. Well, as you mentioned, we did have a Bet the Farm play on Friday. What was that play, and how did it do?
We had the Giants and the Pirates under 8, and the game ended 2-0.
Nice, easy, rocking chair farm win. Cue the banjos. Yeehaw. All right, very good. Well, we're going to get a rock and rolling again. It was kind of a light card, kind of a funky card, so we're going to do something a little bit different. Have we won one of these yet? Did we hit one yet?
On this show, no.
I think we're 0 for 2.
On my YouTube show, I think I'm 5-0.
Okay, well, fuck your YouTube show.
That doesn't matter, but I'm undefeated on this for my daily show.
What have you done for me lately? Here it is, kids. It's going to be your San Francisco Giants and the Atlanta Braves, Nerfy style. No runs in the first inning, -111. Excuse me, guys. Atlanta, not good in the first inning, as it might surprise you a little bit. Averaging just 0.36 runs per inning. That's 27th.
First inning.
Excuse me.
But
What did I say?
you said per inning. It's per first.
Oh, first inning. Sorry. Oh, yeah. San Francisco were averaging half a run. That's 18th. Still below average. Logan Webb going for San Francisco's last 2 starts, 12 2/3, 1.42 ERA. Max Fried, you know him, you love him. He is going for the Braves. Last 5 starts, 31 innings pitched, a 2.27 ERA. Both of these pitchers are very good. And we talked about the offensive struggles for San Francisco, and surprisingly, Atlanta takes a while to get going. So that's going to do it for our farm play, and it's going to be the Atlanta Braves, San Francisco Giants. No run in the first inning. Scott, any final thoughts?
Well, especially with the -111 price, with these pitchers and the below-average nature offensively of both teams in the first inning up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it seem like it should be like -140? Because I saw on DraftKings it was -130.
Yeah.
And yet I shopped around and I found -111.
Yeah, I would have
So
said.
there's a lot of disparity in the markets, but this seems a little bit of a line that should be, or a case where the line should be a lot higher for a flat full game total of 8, doesn't it?
Yep. You know what they say? If it seems too good to be true, don't worry about it. It's probably just a mistake on the
Pretty
bookmaker's
much,
part.
but-
So
I mean, the thing is, you're worried about Atlanta because, of course, they have a lot of firepower offensively. They have been great over the last couple of weeks, but in the first inning, they just can't score.
no, they can't do it in the first inning. So 2 good pitchers on the mound. We're going to take our shot with that. So that's going to do it for the farm. That's going to do it for the show. That's going to do it for Monday, man. Put that baby in the can. We're done. You guys, hey, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. As always, thanks for all the great comments, and thanks for all the times that you guys have shared what we do with your friends. We've got everybody else to tune in. We appreciate the effort. Keep it up. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again one more time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I will be here to do our very best to help you in that journey that never ends as we all try to head back to the window. Guys, take care. We'll see you then.